heard that recidivism is reduced if the incarcerated has received regular visits before release. Is this true? Is there a program in place like this?
There's actually research on that, and we're trying to put a program in place for that. There are visitation programs, and there are pen pal programs all over the place, but the research is like that. It's really surprising that if a prisoner receives one visit in the last month of incarceration, recidivism goes down by 3%. That if they have one visit per month, or per quarter, and the 12 months prior to discharge, it goes down by about 12%. And if they have one visit a month, every month in the 12 months prior to discharge, it goes down by over 30%. Now that's just visitation. That's no programmatic intervention whatsoever. That's just people reaching out and letting people in prison continue to be connected with the communities that they came from. It takes very little effort. It takes very little money. It just takes somebody from the community caring. The program that we're trying to put into place here in Chattanooga is called Stevens Table, and it really gets at our philosophical sort of perspective on this issue, that the issue doesn't get solved until you take the whole thing into perspective, so that it begins with the crime and it ends with somebody fully re-engaged with the community. And as somebody sitting in prison, there's somebody sitting on time. I mean, the average incarceration period in Tennessee is about 4.5 years. Well, 4.5 years, you can do a lot with 4.5 years if you really put your mind to it. Some people complete college in 4.5 years. And so, you know, it's an enormous resource for people that are incarcerated that actually get not very well deployed during that incarceration period, so that in actuality, most of the programming that's delivered for people inside the Department of Corrections happens right before they come home. And so that's when they get the cognitive restructuring programs, that's when they get the substance abuse programs, that's when they get the vocational programs and so forth. It's right before they come home. And so all that time that they built up is really being built up sort of idle. So one of the reasons that we're thinking that we can you know, reach out and do some good is that in reaching out we can also encourage them to use that time in a productive way while they're sitting in a cell. There are a lot of ways to do that, but if you think about it, you know, if you're sitting in prison, where's the expert? They're just not around, right? You're either taking lessons from people that just came back to prison and failed about how to stay out, or you're taking lessons from people that have never been out before. And so there really is nobody beside you that has successfully left prison and stayed out for good. And so a lot of the life lessons that really can be of value for people are here in the community. And by delivering those back to people that are incarcerated through even pen pal clubs, you know, you can do a lot of good.